Hi everyone, it's Anjanette here with some great advice, hopefully, to help you stay on track with your writing. I do get a lot of questions about how best to stay on track, especially if you are looking to write a book. And so since we are currently in the month of October, and lots of you are probably planning on being part of NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month, I wanted to give you my top 3 tips for staying on track with your writing when you are sitting down to write every day. Now, I want you to know that this obviously is great advice, not just for NaNoWriMo, but anytime you are writing, especially long form, right? So here they are. First, you need to have at least a 5 plot point plan, right? Because some people are incredible planners, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I don't necessarily recommend that. Although if that is already how you work, then you're probably not watching these videos because you are set, right? You're having no problems, presumably. But if you are watching this video, maybe you don't plan to spreadsheet nth degree, and maybe you've been pantsing it. And of course, if you're a pantser, you know the problems that you can run into when you're trying to sit down on a daily basis and really hammer out some words. NaNoWriMo is meant to get you 50,000 words in the month of November, which breaks down roughly to 1,667 words a day. Now that can be tough if you don't have at least an idea of what you might be writing every day. So, tip number 1, 5 plot points at least, and those are the opening scene. Where is your protagonist or where are your characters now? What does the world that they are in now look like? Number 2, the inciting incident. What is it that happens to shake things up? Because of course we are going from the normal world, everybody's floating, everything's fine, even if it's not fine, nothing dramatic. The inciting incident is dramatic, if not physically, at least emotionally, particularly for your protagonist. Number 3 is not a point necessarily, but kind of. I call it the messy middle, and this is where you'll have at least 3 different scenes, hopefully in graduated tension of your protagonist having to solve some issue, go to battle, as it were. And the characters around them, whether they're supportive characters or not, are going to be helping to create these little spots of tension, ratcheting up, right? The next is the final battle. The thing that I want you to know about point 4 is the final battle is always has a precursor of surrender. That's where your character is likely on the sofa eating their ice cream in their sweatpants, tracksuit pants, and dirty t-shirt, right? They've given up, and then they are called to that final battle. What is that scene where they're really going to show up raw, vulnerable, totally authentic, no more BS. This is not the way I wanted to do it. Yet that's the only way they were ever going to transform. And then the final plot point is actually the closing scene, or kind of the destination. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I talk about this a lot, clarity of intention, and that is really the GPS coordinates. When you're setting out on a road trip, you kind of have to have an idea of where you want to end up. Now, along the way, you may have detours and you may actually end up somewhere that you weren't expecting. But the way to get yourself on track on a daily basis and not run away screaming from your writing or procrastinating or anything else is to have an idea about where you think they're going to end up, even if it changes. The second piece of advice after having at least five plot points is to know your characters. So this is another planning thing that you need to have at least your protagonist, maybe antagonist, and a few supporting characters. You need to write down at least their names and some stuff about them. If you know their story arc, great, add that in too. The more you are in touch with your characters, the easier it is on you, the writer, to actually write the whole story, because believe it or not, when you get into it, sometimes they tell you what's going to happen. And the best way to have that happen and take the pressure off you to hardcore create all of it is to have them tell you what they said, what they did, what they want. And that happens when you know the characters. The third piece of advice, please, 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 do not edit as you go. Do not edit as you go. If you fix that typo or make that paragraph perfect or rework that sentence to the nth degree, you are in a different frame of mind, and it is counter to writing a lot of words on a daily basis. So the way to stay with the story is to save your editing until you've reached the end, right? So don't fall for that trick that your internal editor will give you of fix that and then it'll all be better. It won't. What you can do is write notes in the margin, in the manuscript itself, because nobody is safe from editing. I promise you, Stephen King, James Patterson, J.K. Rowling, zero people are safe from editing. You will edit, so you might as well get all your words out first, right? So write that note in there, and then you will know that you will come back and address that wrong word, that awkward sentence, that totally off course paragraph, whatever. It doesn't matter. It was words and it counts to your total. It's certainly in NaNoWriMo. There are no prizes for perfect grammar and beautiful sentences. There are only prizes for finishing. And even if you're not doing NaNoWriMo, I want you to get into the habit of having creative time and editorial time, and they should be separate. So those are my 3 top tips for getting you to stay on track so you can finish your long form writing, i.e. your book, whether it be a novel or a memoir or how to or whatever it is. Write, don't edit. Know your characters, and of course have at very least a 5 plot point outline for yourself. And I should say, if you are writing nonfiction, any outline will help. At least an outline. You don't have to have it all filled in. I really hope that helps. If you have any further questions or want follow-up, of course, write a comment below or send me an email, and I can't wait to answer your question next time with The Approachable Agent. See ya.